half a century teaching guitar, I've asked myself so many times, what is it that keeps people from trying or keeps people from learning? And I've compiled a list of the most obvious ones, and there are surely more. Main problems are, first off, wanting to do it. That's usually not a problem. That's the first step. Everybody thinks, wow, that really looks fun. They're usually disappointed when they find out there's an element of not fun to it. It's frustrating as can be, and it takes a certain kind of person to get past that, and that's about a tenth of us. Then the decision to actually do it and not just fantasize it. That's like, I want to be an astronaut. Well, how many people actually do that? Deciding to do it, making that call, or just deciding to buy an instrument and learn it is about as far as most people get. Getting off your butt and doing it is a commitment some of us are afraid to make because we think we'll fail. The fear of failure is the number one thing, but it's in every one of these. It's what we use these excuses to mask the fact that we're afraid of failure. Do you know that Thomas Edison had 10,000 failures on his light bulb before he succeeded? If he had given up like most people do on guitar, we'd be in the dark. Or somebody else would have invented it and he wouldn't have gotten all the credit. What do you got to lose? It costs money to take lessons or buy an instrument. I got the order messed up. Some time. You've got to commit to time. If you don't think you're going to put a half hour, now they say, oh, yeah, a half hour once a week. Well, that won't do it. That's the lesson. If you don't put a half hour in all the other 6 days, you really should on your lesson day too, because it gives you less time to forget what you did. Nobody ever does it though. 10%. It costs, if you take lessons, it costs to buy a guitar unless Uncle Ted gave you one. Chances are it's firewood. The cost of the lessons and the guitar or the gas to get there is on top of the time, and these things are valuable. Here's the big one. Self-image. Everybody has in the back of their mind, there's some little Mozart, and they just haven't followed through, but they are. If they did, they would. How many people have told me that? Getting over the fear of being a buffoon, because we all are in our fantasies. And you may never get totally over that, because your definition of what is a buffoon keeps changing with your development. Shouldn't be a factor. Wanting to show off is buffoonery. That's what we do. We're children. Getting an instrument or having one, if Uncle Al gave you a guitar, maybe it's fine. Don't let wondering whether it's okay or not keep you from doing it. People, oh, my guitar's not in tune, or it's got a string missing, or it's up at the cabin and I can, yeah, so you're always getting an excuse to fall back onto so you don't think you failed. You would have succeeded if not for the fact that my guitar was in Fort Wayne. $60 buys a decent instrument. It's what I give people with their lessons. If they pay for 3 months, I give them a free guitar. I'll send you a link if the company pays me enough or if you ask. Finding a way to learn. Some people can just sit and noodle around on it and be satisfied. I was that way for about a week. If your guitar is playable, and even if it's not, if your guitar is in tune, even if it's not, you can still take an open string and just noodle around and make happy birthday, that kind of stuff. Most people will fall back on, it's not Aussie, so I don't even want to do it. Well, that is a lousy reason. Music is music, and until you can do the real baby step stuff, you're not doing Alan Holdsworth. You're not doing it, and you probably won't anyway. But that's just the way it is, and it's the same for me as it is for you. I wanted it bad enough. I got past the noodling stage. Watch others is a good way. A friend, one of your favorite bands. We watched on Ed Sullivan. How much you gonna learn from watching John Lennon on Ed Sullivan when they don't even show his hand, and only if they did, it was for a second. The whole thing about the band thing is a face. They don't care about what you're playing, but if you do care and want to know how to play, that's going to be a horrible way of doing it. Go see a band. That's the way I did it. Well, they don't hold still. They play through and they're done. That's it. No repeating. If you can get a friend to do that, repeat, you won't be able to. I can tell you, I tried. Maybe twice, 3 times through. You need something to go over and over and over. This is where most people are out. Watch videos. Now, see, I didn't have that luxury when I was learning. Couldn't back it up and watch it slow motion and all that. Big advantage. If you can't do it with that, you got more problems that are not fixable. Get a teacher. Well, most people are intimidated by that. They don't want to feel like a buffoon. There is no way you will not feel like a buffoon. It has to be that way. If a guy sits and tells you how great you're doing no matter what you do, he's a liar. These are salesmen. I've had to be one to a point. I just got tired of doing it. I just couldn't do it. And music stores I worked at demanded that I told them how great they were. Tell them that if they got a Gibson $4,000 ES 175 that they'd really be jazz players. Those are lies. It's a tool, and it's a step towards it. Some teachers say, watch my hand, and that's it. That's what they're doing on the internet mostly. And most people won't communicate any other way. They watch their hand and they think that's what they're going to do. They say, why would I watch anything besides the hand? That's what I'm trying to do. No, you're making a mistake. You cannot watch your vacation before you go or as you're going. You're only seeing that moment in time. And if you don't have a way of planning your next move, thinking ahead, forgetting the past in a way, and thinking about where you are and where you're going, you can't do the vacation all at once. That's when you get home, you look at the slides, whatever. Reading manuscript, some would say, is the optimum way to learn. After 7,600 students, I've had about 5 get very good at it. I'm not very good at it. I can read it and I can play it, but I can't sight read it unless it's stupidly simple. So obviously, they hear this, that, well, we don't read any music, so why should I? Lousy reason. Reading tab is easier in certain ways, but it is limited. Generally, it doesn't tell you the timing. All it does is tell you where to put your finger. And I'm telling you, I've watched people my entire life look at that page and not even focus on their eyes on it because they've already determined they don't want to do that. It does not register. They still want me to play it, and then they watch my hand and do it. See, that's crappy. It's no good communication. Audio recordings of the lesson or just of playing. If you have a good enough audio recording and it's clear and maybe with an explanation on it, that's good. They started coming out with those in the halfway through my development, 25 years ago. They started coming out with recordings of drums and bass, and you could play over it. Now there's backing tracks. You have tools nowadays that way surpass what I learned with, what I learned without. I had to get a human being to strum guitar while I played with them. You won't get that. You might for a few minutes, but the guy's going to say, I'm going to go pick up my girlfriend, and you're going to be sitting there sucking your thumb. It isn't happening. A video recording. This is good in ways because you have audio and video on it, I'm assuming. A regular VHS tape or DVD, whatever. It's got video of the guy doing it and the sound. A lot of times you can slow it down, back it up, loop it. These are big tools. If you can't do it with that, you're really missing the point. The best way for a teacher to make a living is to fill the students' heads with fantasies. I won't do that. I'll tell them great when they're doing something right. I got to believe it. And they do some. And I'm happy when they do. That's why I'm there. The biggest thing, following through. This is where we lose everybody that's left over, except a few. You gotta follow through, and you can't say, I gotta have X amount of accomplishment or I'm not going to. No, you do it regardless of that. That is a talent that successful people have. If you're afraid of failure, you are not going to succeed. You can't. You'll avoid trying to avoid failing, therefore not succeeding. Good luck.